There you go. Can you hear me, Matt?
I can hear you, Daryl.
Oh, there's Josh. All right. See how the old iPad does here. Oh. Got the paperwork up on my phone and I can watch on the video, so. Let's see. Gallery view. There we go. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello yourself.
There it is, Haas. How you doing, Haas?
Good, thank you. This is my one chance a week to get out.
Sure, sure. Well, if it makes you feel better, I've been stuck in the house. So, been on house arrest.
I think Lou's talking, but he's still on mute.
I think, yeah. Oh, Robin's off mute. Hi, Robin.
Am I there now?
You're in.
Here you now, Lou.
What are you in for, Daryl?
Oh, I got a positive ID for the COVID the other day. So
Oh, dear.
yeah.
I thought you had the shot.
No, not yet.
No.
No,
Okay.
I'm not eligible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Are you feeling all right?
yeah, I mild symptoms, just, a cold.
Cold?
I'm very, very lucky in that respect that very, very mild symptoms. So
Yeah. Headache?
yeah, no, just like mild cold.
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't get rid of the headache.
Yeah, that's right. You had a headache, Carl, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Horrible.
it seems to be different with everybody. So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah.
That's why the garage is shut down, if anybody was wondering.
You're an essential part of the town. You can't close that place.
We'll be back open tomorrow. Larry got a clean bill of health after two tests. So he's
Oh, dear.
I'll have somebody pumping gas. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't go near him, Haas.
I'll stay away from him.
I was just thinking, I pump gas by talking.
Well, the way the fuel prices are going, Haas, it might be worth something. So
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Mm.
Who
How's
we
Robin
waiting?
doing tonight?
We waiting for Robin?
Oh,
Is Robin coming tonight?
she's
She's
there,
not
but I
yet.
can't hear.
She's on mute.
She's on mute. Mark's on mute too. Is Mark in there, or is that?
I haven't seen Mark yet.
There's a Hager on the screen, but no picture.
Yeah. And they're both mute.
Yeah,
And Gary is on mute.
Gary's
And
muted.
Linda
Yeah.
is on mute.
There.
And Douglas is on mute.
Now I'm
Yeah.
wide open.
Maybe they're trying to tell us something. Well, maybe we should be quiet.
So are we just waiting for Matt?
I see Robin there.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, Robin, we hear you now.
Okay, I upgraded my computer and it messed up everything. So I'm having to, every time I do something new, I have to go back and change all my system preferences. So my apologies. Okay, it is time. If you will join me with the pledge to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the
Allegiance.
flag,
Flag
of the
of the United States of America,
to the republic,
republic
For which
which
it
it
stands,
which
stands,
it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
justice for all.
liberty
and
and
justice
justice for all.
I think maybe when we do that, we ought to all mute because everybody's computer is kind of out of sync.
We've got to practice that a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, the first order on our agenda is a public hearing on the application for a new liquor license for the Barn Door Baking Company on Main Street. Is there anyone here to speak to that issue?
We should find out who's here. I don't see anyone here from the baking company, but is Mark here? Is that you, Mark, under S. Hager, or is that Seth?
That's that.
No, it sounds like Seth.
Yeah, I think it is. It's,
Yeah, there's Mark coming on.
Oh, okay, all right.
this,
There
this.
we
Let me
go.
tell.
there's Mark.
There's
It
Mark.
looks like Mark's here.
Cheryl, hi Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Mark is on mute. Now he's not.
Sorry, I'm running a little bit behind.
Sorry, Mark.
Okay, we-
The Zoom shuffle.
yeah,
Yeah, really, huh?
okay, is,
Looking for the passcode.
is there anyone here to speak to the issue of the Barn Door Baking Company getting its liquor license?
Who's Douglas Morton? On
Pardon
mute.
me?
There's a Douglas Morton, but he's on, I don't know who he is.
That's me. I'm just a townie being nosy about what's gonna be said.
Oh, okay. We won't curse you out then.
Okay, thank you.
Not nosy, Doug, just an interested citizen participating in our local government. Okay, well, if no one is here to speak to the issue of a liquor license for the Barn Door Baking Company, we will close the public hearing and we'll open the, call the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda will be an action on the application for the Barn Door Baking Company to have a liquor license.
I'll make a motion to approve liquor license for Barn Door Baking Company LLC.
I will second it.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor? Raise your hand so Linda can see. And that's unanimous. Okay, wonderful.
All
The next item is the minutes for the February 3rd Board of Selectmen's meeting, and I apologize that I had to miss that meeting.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of the February 3rd meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, Daryl seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your hands. Oh, I abstain. All right, our financial reports. The first is payroll warrant number 45. And I'll make a motion that we approve payroll warrant number 45.
I will second.
Okay, I have Lewis seconding. Any discussion? You can't hear me?
Can hear you.
Yeah,
End. All in, warrant 45. And
Robin froze up on us here, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, she's back.
oh, my back. Okay. All right. Lou made the motion. No, I made the motion. Lou seconded it. Any discussion? Lou?
No, I
Okay.
was
All
just
in- all in
voting.
favor? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. All right. And accounts payable warrant number 46, that is for the Hager snow plowing contract. I'll make a motion that we approve that.
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Up. Was there discussion? Okay, all in
No.
favor? Okay,
I abstain.
okay. So we had 3 in favor, 1 abstain, and Josh,
And one no.
and 1 no. Okay, you opposed. Okay. Accounts payable warrant number 47, which is general accounts payable warrant.
I'll make a motion to accept AP
Is there a motion
47.
to accept?
I will second.
Any discussion?
I'll be honest with you. I have not had time to go through this, so I'm counting on everybody else.
Okay.
I just had a quick question. Maybe Matt can answer the ideal septic charges on there. I'm just curious about those.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What chart?
The ideal septic. I was just curious about the on the AP warrant 47.
What, you're breaking up on my.
Sorry, Matt. The ideal septic.
Oh, ideal septic. Okay. Yeah, those are hopefully going to be paid for by the grant funded project. We've had Ideal come in to help us see if we could find an alternative to the pump station, the station we probably to be putting in at Damerscott Center.
Okay. Yeah.
So they've gone through, well, just real briefly, we've met on site and with George Parker and Alan from Ideal and with Ross Flood and looked at all the options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
I thought that might be the case,
Yeah.
but they'll be submitted under the grant project too. So hopefully they'll get paid that way as well. All right. That's all I had.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All in favor? Okay, no?
And I will abstain just because I hadn't had a chance to look at it.
Okay, thank you. Presentations this evening, Matt? No presentations this evening? Citizens' comments, general correspondence. We have several visitors here at the meeting. Are you here to make comments? Mr. Rosenthal?
No, just observing.
Okay, okay. And Mr. Morton, you said you were just observing as well? Okay,
That's correct. I was waiting for the information about what's going on down in the parking lot.
oh, okay, okay. The only thing I have, I talked to Matt earlier, I received a phone call regarding a waiver for collecting signatures for a petition for an item to appear on the town warrant. And the item would be essentially a new ordinance that deals with carbon tax. And we had waived the petition requirements for our the agencies that we contribute to with town tax dollars, like Coastal Kids and the YMCA and what have you. So the person that talked to me today said that she would be in touch with an email with details and what have you, and could not come tonight to the meeting because she had another Zoom meeting. And I said, well, we would not be making a decision tonight in any event, and invited her to come to the first meeting in March, which is, I think, the 3rd. So I just wanted to let you know that we did have an inquiry about waiving the petition requirements because of COVID. I think it was 122 signatures are required to put something on the warrant. And she was concerned-
122.
Yeah, she was concerned about collecting signatures because of COVID. So anyway, just, tuck that in the back of your mind and, maybe she will come to the meeting on the first week in March.
What was the petition for again?
To create a carbon tax for the town of Damascotta. So you would tax your carbon emissions and the money would be collected by the town and then go back to the Damascotta residents. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but that's kind of the gist of it. I asked her to send me details and I did not hear from her. So, I'll just leave it at that and hopefully she'll come next week.
Robin, I haven't seen the proposal, but the town doesn't have any authority to collect any tax other than a property tax. So maybe
okay. Well, that's good to know.
that's the response.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I will
And
let her know
excise
that in
tax,
any
of
of,
course, yeah.
okay, okay. All right, well, I appreciate knowing that and I'll give her a call tomorrow and let her know. But that's all I had as far as citizens' comments and concerns. Town manager items, we have several. The municipal parking lot.
Yeah, just on the municipal
Project.
parking lot, now, I don't know if like Doug was expecting more, but we're proceeding ahead with the sewer line. We're having the lift station design votes, one from the restroom contractor and the other from the sewer line contractor. And it looks like that's going to be our only alternative. So I'm hoping to get those soon. I will need to get EDA approval to include that in the grant. So there's still a few steps to go there. What I would like to do is we've got a deadline of a few weeks from now for the 30% to be done. And I'm going to be setting up a meeting with the Waterfront Improvement Committee for the week of March 8th. I'd like to schedule a public meeting, and this would again be by Zoom, with citizens who might be interested in this project, and I hope there's a lot of folks that are, but I'd like to do that the week of the 15th. We'd have a PowerPoint presentation and Wright Pierce, Malone and McBroom, town staff and the Waterfront Committee would be able to explain where we are with the project. So I don't know if you want to do that on a selectmen's meeting night or whether you'd prefer to have another date for that.
What do y'all think?
I would think,
I think we ought to just have it on a different night because I think it's going to be a lot of discussion.
I agree with Josh.
Okay,
Yeah, that makes sense.
okay.
Sounds good.
So Matt, do you want to pick a night that week? Not Wednesday? It doesn't have to
Okay,
be-
I'll send out a note, maybe Tuesday the 16th,
the 16th?
tentatively,
Okay,
in the late afternoon.
Okay.
4:30?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I'll need to check
Yeah.
with a bunch of folks, but let's tentatively plan on 4:30 on the 16th.
Okay, and that's kind of before the dinner hour.
Yeah, sounds good.
Might get some more folks there.
And it will probably end at the bedtime hour.
And next item I sent to the board the time.
Wait,
Oh,
Matt, before you move on, can I ask a question?
sure.
We have the feedback on the waterfront committee. And one of the things they said is building an asphalt sidewalk on the south side of the building adjacent to Misery Gulch. And that's all private property. Why would the town build a sidewalk there?
Well, this is something that came out of the Shore and Harbor study originally it was before I was in 2010. And there was the idea that the town, as part of the improvement project, the waterfront would build a boardwalk to connect to Schooner's Landing. So that idea is being revisited. I think the benefit is that, well, we would have an easement if we were to do it. The only way to get it grant funded is to have an easement for it. But instead of building a very expensive deck and back, we'd ask the owner of the property, and he's tentatively agreed, to give us an easement to build an asphalt path and that to Schooner's Landing. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is as part of the flood protection concepts, one of the flood protections is to have the wall go around the Narragansett building to where the seafood restaurant and the meat market are, have it go around that building up to Main Street.
Yeah.
And I send you the graphics on that. Oh, you would have seen them, saw either the PowerPoint or the presentation from a couple weeks ago. So if we do that, and we have to build a wall anyway, I think it makes a lot of sense to put that asphalt walkway in. It'll be a significant safety factor. We've got a driveway on the west side of the waterfront, well, on the parking lot,
Right.
that's hazardous. This is half owned by Alan McKinnon and half owned by the town. And it's a difficult exit point or entrance point for that matter, very narrow, and pedestrians are using it as well. So the thought is if we could have an alternative walkway between the parking lot and the Schooner's Landing and the other buildings on that side of the gulch, it would be a safety improvement.
Okay. Okay.
We're still, it's still in the conceptual stage, still being
yeah.
discussed, but that's the origin of that.
Okay. I was just curious. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on.
Question?
Mark's got his hands up.
I got a question as far as that is, knowing that how we pull into the parking lot, is this the time that we should be talking about the possibility of making that a one-way where we come into the parking lot? Because that's a pretty tight situation there. And if we're going to go ahead and build some sidewalk around that to make it better, this may be the time to look at having a one-way into there and then an exit over on the east end of the parking lot. I would like to see that discussed a little bit.
It's come up quite a few times. The question comes up pretty regularly. The difficulty with that is that if you only have an entrance, and that's what you're talking about, an entrance on the west side, right?
Yes.
Alan, next to the shared driveway we have with Alan McKinnon, then you have to have all the traffic exiting onto Water Street and then onto Main. So you're gonna end up with, in the summertime in particular, you're gonna end up with congestion street and then a backup onto Main Street, from Water Street to Main Street, especially if people are taking left-hand turns. So I'd be real careful about that. I think another downside would be people using the private entrance and exit at Colby and Gale as a shortcut. I mean, we can certainly look at that again, but that's kind of the full circle we go through on that.
I just feel like it should be talked about a little bit, because as we know, we pull in there, if there's two vehicles, it's very, very tight. And
It's very tight.
I just feel like we should talk about it a little bit. That's all.
And if you've got two vehicles, you also have a safety problem for the pedestrians.
Yes.
Yeah,
If I may, to Mark's point, we discussed it a great deal over for more than 6 years off and on in the waterfront committee.
no, that's true. And there is no easy answer.
No.
And we have talked about it from every angle, you know.
What I'd like to do as a first step, and I've talked informally with the property owner, Alan McKinnon, is have the town acquire that driveway 100%, because the only thing there now is a utility easement. So Alan could block that off to public access if you wanted. So it's a pretty tenuous situation. So that might be the first step.
Yeah, well, when we start building flood walls and everything else, is that going to take away or, you know, more parking lot area? And will it decrease the safety there if you have a flood wall anywhere?
No, well,
It's
I don't know
further
how much you want to go in.
back.
I'm not sure how much you want to go into it, but it'd be the concept one on the presentation that Malone and McRoom gave the other day in their
Mhm.
power. So, yeah, take a look at that.
Yeah.
I don't see where that would,
Be a
obstruct
problem.
traffic in any way.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, I tend to agree that, you know, it always is something that's been discussed and probably will be forever. So,
I mean, it's something we could try for a season. I just think and the other issue that came up at the Waterfront Improvement Committee, and this goes back quite a few years, is the concern that in the wintertime, if Water Street, the driveway to Water Street becomes too slick, you could have a problem with people going up that hill. But I don't know. I've never seen that as an issue, but that is a potential issue.
but you know, going out that exit, you have two choices. You can go out the Water Street to Main Street, or you can go down, you know, in front of Dick McLean's house.
You go over Cross
You know,
Street. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's.
I guess what it
create a
is,
problem.
and I appreciate all the discussion and that the committee has put into this. I'm not taking that away whatsoever. But I'm also looking at 20 years down the road. You know, where are we going to be in 20 years? Or how can we really look at this so that we can try to do the best we can with the information we have and approach it from that perspective. That's all.
Well, let me ask you, Matt, what do you think? And I agree, Mark, with what you're saying. Matt, since we're still under COVID restrictions, what if we did try it one way for a summer when there's not a lot of traffic and see what kind of a disruption it causes, if any? Now, there are not a lot of tourists. There weren't a lot of tourists this year. And as long as things are in semi-lockdown, there may not be a lot of tourists in the coming year. It might be a good time to give it a try and just see what happens. Everybody think about it. We don't have to decide tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's what the board, I guess I'd be concerned, especially when we got toward the end of the tourist season last year, it was pretty crowded downtown.
Yeah, busier.
And so I don't know that it's going to let up anytime soon. Hopefully not, but if it's, it's the board's decision. If you want to just schedule a discussion on that at some point.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. And I think Robin's got a good point is before we get to that point where we really got to make that decision, let's stick our toes in the water a little bit and see how that goes.
Yeah, do a pilot test.
It won't hurt anything.
It'll be very confusing for people.
Yeah.
It's well worth looking into. I think a a pilot test might be difficult in that people are set in their ways. I can be a witness to that. I have no objections to to me, it almost makes sense to have it one way in there. With my different hat on, the difficulties I've seen, we'll deal with. But I would almost think you'd have to really make the decision either yes or no, and
Right.
because it has to be,
Yeah.
it really has to be advertised that
Oh,
this is
sure.
what we're doing. We're going to change it tomorrow, everybody get on board. So we just need,
Oh,
I think it's a good idea to think about it and talk about it. Absolutely, but it would definitely be a.
Could I just throw out
Hold on,
one
Doug.
thought
I
on
think-
that?
Haas has his hand up too. But just keep in mind too, that Hodgson Street was made one way. About 5 years ago, Hodgson Street was made one way. And occasionally somebody will go the wrong way down the street.
Yeah, it can be done.
Everybody
Absolutely.
goes down Hodgson Street one
Yeah.
way.
You just gotta tell everybody we're changing it.
Yeah. Haas, you had your hand up and then Doug.
The suggestion was to do it this summer because there'll be lighter traffic. But if you want to learn something, you don't do it when things are not regular. In other words, whatever you might learn from doing it with less traffic is different than what you would do it with more traffic. That's the only comment I wanted to make. It's
Okay.
not a fair experiment if it's unusual circumstance.
Okay. I think Doug had a comment and then Lou.
Yeah, the only comment I had is maybe it would be advantageous just to do a traffic monitoring for the summer. Car count, see how many come in from one direction versus the other, and how that affects the stoplight and the top intersection.
Okay. All right. That's a good idea too. As an alternative.
My
Lou.
comment was that it is very difficult to go left off from Water Street at times. So you might have to put a stoplight there.
Heck, it's difficult to turn left out of the parking area by Stars in the fish market.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's a challenge.
Yeah, the state wouldn't allow us to
Be
put
aggressive.
a stoplight at Water Street right next to it'd be a block from the
Right.
stoplight at Bristol Road in Maine.
Yeah. Well, the local folks would figure it out.
Yeah.
They would either, go down across and up to
Bristol.
Bristol, or they cut through Kobe Gale like they do now.
Thanks for putting up with me. The reason I
Everybody
wanted to be here tonight is because I heard a nasty rumor that they were talking about putting in a Trump Tower casino in the parking lot, and I want to make sure that didn't happen. So, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you,
That's
Doug, for
That's
coming.
a good idea, Doug.
Oh, me.
The old Atlantic City one they just took down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. But, people think about it and, different ideas of what we could do to see how it may or may not work. So
Yeah.
the timeline for the town warrant articles, Matt?
I'd like me to do on that item. Do you want to schedule a workshop on that? Do you want me to have the police department weigh in on it? What's your thought? Do you want to see if we can contract for traffic counts, like testing? Do you have any direction for me at this point?
I don't think so. I think that we all, this kind of came out of the blue. And maybe it can be an agenda item for next week where we can decide, everybody think about what some of the alternatives,
Okay.
best alternatives may be. And we can make a decision to do something or not at that time.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Are there any questions on the timeline for the town warrants? At the last meeting, we're going to need to get moving on it from the staff's standpoint, put together the warrant and make sure the ordinances are in order. That fairly minor amendment to the town charter will have to, have a legal review on that. So if you don't have any questions, we can move forward. But you see, there's a lot involved. This was a secret
Yes.
ballot election. Kind of pushes it pushes the timeline, where we've got to move quicker than we would if it were an open town meeting item.
Right, right.
So I heard from 4 of you with regard to the Spirit of America tribute in the town report dedication. So send me your send me your secret ballot, and then we'll make that announcement. On the RFP for the survey engineering design for Church Street, I've sent out a note saying that to everyone that got the RFP and everyone that has responded with questions, I sent a note saying we're going to delay the deadline for that. And the reason is I did a little research, quite a bit of research, trying to find out the Church Street right-of-way. And it occurred to me that that was the old Route 1. So I asked Maine Department of Transportation if they had any record to the 1920s, 1930s on what the right-of-way there was. And sure enough, it's a 50-foot way on Church, which is good news because that's going to save us quite a bit of survey work over private property, and then ultimately save us some dollars in terms of right-of-way acquisition. So I need to get all that documentation together and the RFP reflect that. There's not a big hurry with this one because we don't have any construction dollars yet. We just have the donation that's going to allow us to do that survey and the design. So just want to, we're probably looking at a week in March as a deadline for that.
Cool.
All right, official action items. The only one on the agenda for this evening is the Maine Department of Transportation Main Street Sidewalk Grant.
This one here.
Yeah, at the last meeting, I gave you a list of 4 or 5 items to approve to accept this grant money and proceed with the project, et cetera. Although I mentioned it in the narrative, I neglected to include it in motion, but you have to allocate the dollars for the local match from the reserves, capital reserves. And we do have the money available for that.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure of for the $12,000 out of the sidewalk capital reserve funds for the local match for the Main Street sidewalk and bikeway project.
I will second. Whoops.
Thank you.
Sorry, Josh.
Okay, gotta be quick, Josh.
Fighting over.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, terrific. Selectmen's discussion items, and I'm going to go around the way I see you on Zoom. So Josh, we'll start with you.
I'm doing pretty good. I hope everybody's being safe, and I wish Daryl well, and we'll
Yeah.
get through everything. And the budget season's coming up, and I think we're going to have to make a couple choices here on how we're going to do some funding on some certain projects. So just be ready for a positive approach to our upcoming budget.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Daryl.
I don't have anything tonight. Just waiting to get out of house arrest here next week. So
How many more days?
5:01 p.m. on the 23rd.
Oh, my Lord.
That's what CDC told me.
Okay. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Lou.
I would like to know how our funds for the needy are progressing. Do we have any problems there?
Are you, yeah, you're referring to the use of the Philbrook fund for the gift
Needy
cards?
and and the additional funds we had
Yeah.
allocated.
We haven't held interest, but since Cheryl's on the line, I'm going to ask her to report on that.
We've had a few more people that have qualified for the gas and groceries, but other than for above and beyond general assistance, there's not been a lot. We haven't really had a lot of people needing the general assistance, but we have had a few people don't qualify for general assistance, but they need the extra grocery money, so they've been able to get that.
Oh, well,
Good.
then,
We've done maybe 15.
okay. Should we send out another announcement in our next newsletter, Matt? Just to keep reminding
Yes, I
people that
will.
it's available?
Yeah.
And have we heard anything about the acquisition of the, excuse me, yeah. Yeah,
Lou, I missed a word.
the problem, pardon?
I missed a word.
Okay. Have we heard anything about the potential purchase of the center from the state?
Information Bureau?
Yes.
Where we left that, and it's been about a month and a half ago, we had a Zoom call with the president of the chamber, John Roberts, in that capacity, and Jim Gallagher, and then a couple folks from the state. And I think I've shared with you before that they're agreeable to selling the information center property to the town. The information center is already owned by the Information Bureau. So they agreed on that. And that was early January. They said that they would have a draft memorandum of understanding following. We still don't have it. So I sent them a reminder notice beginning of last week, and they apologized for not having that to us. So it's still in their court. The only thing that I need is, since we are the potential owner, and the chamber really doesn't own the land yet, and the Information Bureau doesn't own, we need a driveway permit. So I need to complete that form and work with MDOT on that. But that's not holding us up. It's just they need to come back to us with some type of offer.
That's all I had.
Okay, thank you, Lou. Mark?
The only thing I'd like to point out is, working here at Great Salt Bay with the funds that the federal monies that have came about, to benefit the taxpayer of Damascotta, Newcastle, and Bremen, we were able to get our ventilation system changed from pneumatics to all digital. That's an ongoing process, and we're in the neighborhood of probably $260,000 that we're going to benefit from. That local taxpayers was going to have to deal with that eventually. So that is a plus thing that's come about. The other thing is we have like $60,000 in hands-free units, as far as sinks here at school, flushes. All things that were original back in 1978 and 1998, they were actually able to go ahead and get replaced. So these are things that we're looking at to get replaced during these unfortunate times. We're taking advantage for the taxpayer of these three towns to make this happen. We're even looking at drinking fountains that don't have any filtration systems on them. And what we're doing is replaced all of those with those federal funds too. So we have a lot of furniture that got replaced so that we could do some learning outside. So we were able to tap into those and keep our furniture inside, use the furniture that was old moved outside, which is a good positive thing. And I just think that is gloom and doom. We don't like to see what's going on. We're trying to tap into those federal funds as much as we can for the taxpayer of these three towns at school. So other than that, I just wish everybody just keeps positive and keeps stepping forward. We'll get through this.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's good news on the school front. And I certainly don't have anything to add to that. But I will echo the comments. Everybody stay well, stay safe, and don't slip on the ice out there. It's still pretty bad. So take care. And with that, I would like to close the Selectmen's meeting for a discussion of the police officer collective bargaining agreement negotiations for 1 MRSA section 4056D. And so I would like to ask everybody that is not on the board of Selectmen who,
Robin, I'd
Yes,
just like to let you know that we cannot, this is an open after we're gonna come back.
yes, that's true.
We're not-
Yeah.
we're
Come
not
back
closing-
and
we're
negotiate.
not closing the
After our
Selectmen's meeting. After a executive session, we'll come back.
Come back, reconvene the Selectmen, right. But we do have to have our visitors leave us at this point.
So I'm going to pause the recording.
Okay.
Did you vote to move into executive session?
Oh, okay.
No.
I guess I made the motion.
Oh,
We
you
need-
did. Yeah,
vote.
we didn't have a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay, and then Linda, what I'll do, you don't have to stay around till the end. Okay, we're recording
Josh?
again.
I don't vote when I come out of executive session. You just come out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we have reconvened the Board of Selectmen's meeting for the discussion and vote on the action on the police officer collective bargaining agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the police officer collective bargaining and agreement with the Damascotta Union.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? And all against? And, please know, it's not because I have anything against our police department. I do think it's a wonderful police department.
Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All
I was
right,
gonna be
all in
fight over
favor?
that one.
All in favor? And thank you, Cheryl, for staying with us so long
Yes.
this
No
evening.
problem. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
You too, thank you.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Darrell, take care of yourself.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you. I will. I feel fine, but thank you.
You're lucky.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Take care.
take
Thank you,
care.
guys. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Ah.